On this episode of Star Trek Universe, we are discussing the sudden cancellation of Star Trek Prodigy and Strange New Worlds 202 Ad Astra per Aspera, right after these words from our mystery sponsors.
Welcome to Star Trek Universe, the podcast where you get to listen in on two lifelong friends sit around and chat about Star Trek. My name is Matthew Carroll.
I'm David C. Robertson.
David C.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Carlos himself.
Mr. Scotty.
That's me.
That's right.
What'd you think? We got our second episode of the season.
Uh-huh.
What were your feelings about this episode that I can't remember the Latin of?
Ad Astra per Aspera, so I think it means something like, do good through hardship or some shit like that, yeah.
Oh no, it was something like to the stars through hardship.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the stars through hardship. I
remember exactly.
To infinity and beyond, I think is what it stands for.
It just means open 24 hours. Everybody senses tried to make it into something really interesting. It just wasn't.
It says hot dogs 50 cents each or something. It's like
condoms $1.
Gotta go to condoms. Why do you have to shove your dick into every episode, Dave?
It's not my dick. It's just a generic dick.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
generic genitalia.
Yeah, man. I thought it was a really great episode.
Sorry. Just like I asked that question. We went on like a 1 minute about weird Latin and dicks, and then, yeah, man, I thought it was a pretty good episode. Just like funny. This is a silly thing to like answer the question very earnestly after like bullshitting around for 30 seconds. Yeah, I thought so too, man. I liked this episode a lot better than I liked last week's. It feels just self-contained, even though it's about the overarching plot, you know? Mm-hmm. It felt like a very nice, self-contained lawyer episode, and Star Trek's great. Star Trek has great lawyer episodes.
Yeah.
You know, Measure of a Man.
Mm-hmm. Court-martial.
Yeah. The one that's about
that
the cage.
That one with Riker.
Yeah, man.
I can't remember the name of it.
I don't either. But yeah, I do think it was kind of formulaic.
Mm-hmm.
As I enjoyed it, but like I was watching it, and I was like, I don't feel like there's a lot in this individual episode that's meaty. I do think there's a lot of character growth, and I like the sort of twist they put. We knew because of Deep Space Nine that they weren't going to like solve the problem here. We knew they were going to leave it illegal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I like that her ex-friend came to help her and really came for her own purposes, but actually ended up like the twist was she really did like fix it through a very narrow case. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The asylum thing.
I liked the asylum.
Yeah. It's a really
twist.
It was a really great twist. It was really, really well done.
Yeah, that was pretty well done, honestly. I enjoyed it, but I don't feel like there's a whole lot to say. Like, I enjoyed M'Benga explaining that that Spock and that other Vulcan were fighting.
They
hated each other.
You don't see the tension there?
They hate each other. And then Spock's like, I apologize for that you had to witness that outburst.
Yeah, that's really good. That felt so much. A lot of the jokes they're putting Spock through this season, and this show in general, feel like old jokes they'd have on TOS. Like, that feels like... It feels very much like something like Kirk would say to McCoy. You know, like, you don't see the tension there? Oh, yeah, they hate each other. And then Spock getting up and saying, I'm sorry for that outburst. Like, that feels exactly like something from the original series to me.
Yeah. Yeah. through a very modern lens, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
They talk like us, and it's weird for me.
Well, there would have been a lot more like harp music in the background and Kirk with a wry smile as like the camera, like a Vaseline covered camera aimed in on him while he's like, see what I did there? I don't know. It just like there would have been a lot of that.
Yeah, it would be like McCoy, like, look at him. You know, two pigs in a blanket or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
then,
like, it feels so much like that. I love it.
And Kirk would look over and smirk and go, you sure? You know, it would have been like real old-timey, but I missed that about this show. Like, I'm like, I want it to be like that, though, somehow.
Yeah, that's pretty great. Let's see. Really, I mean, this is just a character episode for Una, if nothing else. We learn a lot about her backstory. We learn a lot about the Illyrians and her backstory, and like that broken leg story we see at the beginning was really sad. And I liked the subtlety at which they told the story of like her and her friend. There was something about her brother getting hurt, and like she abandoned them because she could pass as human.
Yeah.
I thought that was really like the anger between them felt really real and really like earned, but also the fact that like their purposes here were to prove, like her purpose here wasn't to save Una, it was to prove things about the Illyrians themselves. And like that last moment where it's like, okay, yeah, I can't change the law. It's canon, you know? That's what she said. Bashir still has to do his whole journey. But like, but what I can do is I can make sure this Illyrian stays on this ship and proves, like it puts Una in this situation where like she's going to have to like be a representation of genetically enhanced peoples and Illyrian specifically for the rest of her time. You know, she's now publicly an Illyrian in a command position, and it's going to be a struggle. She's probably never going to get past the seat she's in now, I bet. Like it's going to be a struggle, and it's going to be an ongoing problem. And I just like that. I like this. I like the world building of this show. It's been really great.
Yeah. I was confused though. I know that, like, allegorically, they were talking about being white passing.
Yeah, well, passing in general. Like, white passing, it can also be, like, trans people can pass as the gender that, their chosen gender. Yeah, all those things.
But in universe, like, how was Lawyer Lady not passing? Because
I don't think it was
looked
her.
like a lady. Like
I don't think it was her. It was her brother.
Oh, okay.
So her family couldn't leave because her brother had something that obviously made him look genetically engineered, and that's why he was the one that was hurt and taken away. I don't think I have to go back and listen to that speech again because those two parts were separated. But they say something about the brother and how they don't see this thing. They don't even say it. They don't even say it was her brother. It's like she says something about a boy. It was a friend of mine's brother. And then she looks at her, and it's like that's the real rift here, is because she left, and then after she left, her brother couldn't leave for whatever reason. He wasn't passing, and so their family stayed, and they had to go through all the hardship, and he ended up getting murdered or taken away or something.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
I was doing that too. I was like
sleeping.
I was looking at her going like, okay, she's got like makeup. Like I was like looking at her eyes because she had little turnips on her, like her not turnips, but her eyes turned up. And I think that's just makeup though. I was like, how was she not passing? You know, I was like, if she's not passing, it's very subtle. And then I was like, oh, it's that's the brother. The brother wasn't passing. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. It's like analyzing her makeup to see like, I don't see any ridges. I don't know. She doesn't look like an alien to me.
Right. She just looks like a lady. I don't understand.
Yeah. Oh, the other big twist was that Una turned herself in, which I think earned a lot of respect. And I wonder if So her friend was trying to like go down with like, I'm gonna save, like I'm gonna make this case be a big case to change the law. That was her goal.
Yeah.
But then she found out that Una was the one that turned herself in, which means Una finally decided to stand up for real. You know what I mean? Like she made the decision to put herself in this position to show, to trust Starfleet and try to change the law. And I wonder if that was when her friend was like, okay, I'm in this for you now, which is what she ended up doing, is making that decision. And if like that combined with the crew and the way the crew talked about Una, if that like inspired her to make that change.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I liked all of that.
Yeah, me too. The Vice Admiral was interesting.
Which one was the Vice Admiral?
He was the Vulcan who Spock was talking to. The classic scenario of like an admiral character coming in to be an asshole.
Yeah.
And his just like Vulcan logic and trying to just Vulcan logic, but also that classic Vulcan like, you will submit to our decisions about like what you should be, you know what I mean? The Vulcan oppression of it all. I liked his character a lot, and just the way that he like really was going after. I just love that like they went like she used him. She was like judo moved him, because like no, not judo. What's the one where you use their motion to flip them? I don't know.
Masturbation.
No, it's not masturbation. There's a martial art that it's all about like using your opponent's motions against them.
I don't know.
And I'm not thinking of it right now. Taekwondo, right? No,
I don't know.
No, it's not it. Anyway, my friends used to do it, and now I can't remember. They all used to talk about it because they used to go to the class together, and I can't remember. Anyway, so she actually had him go after the captain, the captain, and like, and find out that the captain like knew ahead of time, but like that's the thing that like ended up getting her out, because she sought help through the captain. He granted her asylum. It's just nice. It was a really well scripted episode.
Yeah.
I liked Pike going to visit the lawyer in the first episode with the face mask on and like letting his oxygen go to zero. Like,
yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, it was very Pike of him. And I liked when it was his girlfriend was the lawyer, right? Like the opposing lawyer, or hit the girl he was knocking boots with in season 1.
What? Hold on.
Wasn't that right?
What was the question?
Wasn't that Pike's girlfriend? I thought so.
I think so.
Yeah, she charges in his room and says, "Una rejected my deal," and he's like, "Good." Like it was very like Pike. I like his like brashness. I don't know. I just liked it. I like this episode. It's a good episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was noticing this episode because like Effie and I just watched The Cage and reviewed it for the show. And by the way, happy 200 episodes.
Oh really?
This is like 201 or something.
Hey, congratulations, man. We made it.
And to you.
We made it. We're done.
Just really noticing how much Jeffrey Hunter Anson Mount puts into his performance.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. And also, I'm sure when they were casting for Pike, they probably looked for someone who had a similar quality or something.
Mm-hmm.
So there's probably some naturalness happening there, and I'm sure he also studied him. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have too much else to say about this episode, but we did want to talk about that other news story.
Do you want to hit Stu Little's feedback first for this episode?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Stu says, hello. And he called it, by the way, the measure of a woman. Stu says, Pike just got his way by holding his breath until the people he wanted to see would cooperate.
Yeah.
I liked it. Made me feel like he was being like 4 years old, but that's cool. He says, so per Pike talking with Nira about her recent work, cases taken out against Starfleet are adjudicated by Starfleet? Conflict of interest much? They should demand third-party arbitration by the Grisellas. I don't understand that reference.
I don't know who the Grisellas are, but I will say, like, it is definitely an interesting thing to like because the case isn't being actually about Starfleet, or it's not supposed to be. It's just about this girl who broke the rules. But that lawyer turns into an indictment of Starfleet, which, like, yeah, it's like the whole room is like it's all Starfleet judging the fact that she's trying to, like, I mean, this is the whole point. The whole system is corrupt. You can't handle the truth.
All right. Well, the Grisellas were a species known to undergo hibernation cycles lasting at least 6 months. In 2366, the Sheliak refused to allow the Federation 3 weeks to remove 15,000 human colonists from Tau Cygna 5, which fell under Sheliak ownership as per the Treaty of Armans. Citing terms from the treaty, Captain Jean-Luc Picard named the Grisellas as third-party arbitrators to help settle the disputes. Gotcha. When Picard mentioned that the Grisellas would not awaken for another 6 months, the Sheliak agreed to the original request of 3 weeks. Gotcha. Okay. It's a deep cut.
That's a deep cut.
Can't get behind it. Stu says, gee, with all this talk about outing, hiding who you are, and Una's tension with her old quote-unquote friend, could this episode be a metaphor for something else? I'm stumped as to what that could be. I think it was a metaphor for a lot of things, honestly. For several, just any kind of otherness.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, the name. Like, one thing, I don't know. I can't decide whether I liked it or didn't like it. It's just so blatant that it was almost too on the nose. Like, because it was already on the nose, and then, like, they just straight up name, like, yeah, 200 years ago, it was about who you loved, or the color of your skin, or they name a bunch of the things, you know. I thought that was interesting. It was interesting because we haven't really seen that in the past. Like, normally they sort of, like, a lot of times, I mean, we do. We see it in some of them, we don't see it in others, I guess. Like, I'm just bouncing back and forth, sorry.
Stu says, Starfleet versus Wick, why would they kill a dog? Is that a John Wick reference?
Yeah, it's a John Wick reference.
Okay.
That's
Stu
the whole
says,
inciting incident. No, spoiler alert for John Wick, but it's in the first, like, 20 minutes. The whole inciting incident is a gang comes to his house to fight John Wick because they don't know who he is, and they end up killing his dog. And it's a dog that has a lot of there's a lot of other emotional complication with the dog too. And so, like, he goes on the warpath, and it turns out that one of them is, like, the gangster godfather's son. And so the whole movie is like, so the gangster godfather wants to protect his son, so he just throws, like, everybody at John Wick. And so John Wick has to fight through, like, hundreds and hundreds of gangsters and all types to find and kill the one guy who killed his dog. It's just very, very violent and fun movie. And there's in, like, the third John Wick movie, there's a dog. The dog is actually wearing a bulletproof vest because whatever, it's the John Wick universe. And one of the villains shoots the dog, and the character who has that dog, like, goes at him, and she's not supposed to touch this guy, and she kills him, and it's like a big bad thing that she killed him, and she's like, he shot my dog, and John Wick goes, I get it. It's like such a funny, I don't know, it's a funny joke. It's a really funny joke.
Cool, man. One day I'll watch those, I guess. I don't know.
You should. They're great.
Stu says, tell me, Admiral April, when you were stranded on the cowboy era-like planet Yehanias 7, did you not help native farmers fight off cattle rustlers with the aid of Starfleet issue phaser pistols modified to look like Colt revolvers? Man, I don't know what that means.
Stu, you're either doing like extra deep cuts this week. I don't know if he's trying to test us, but we don't get
it. I'm sorry, man.
Stu I know what he's referencing in the episode, but I don't know what
yeah. Stu says, I don't know how I feel about all that heartfelt testimony, only to resolve the matter with a bit of a loophole due to the standards of asylum. Also, I don't know if granting asylum also equates to being able to keep your job in Starfleet. It seems like it would just obligate them to let her continue to be a free Federation citizen, which was the original deal they offered her. They seem to rule she didn't commit a crime, but that doesn't change the fact there's still a regulation that says genetically modified people can't serve in Starfleet. I wondered about that too, but kind of just rolled with it because I was tired.
Well, I think the idea is that she asked for asylum on the ship, and because of that, I guess the two regulations. Yeah, I guess his point is the two regulations don't have to really conflict. You can give her asylum without letting her be a commander in Starfleet.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
they should have just stripped her of rank and let her stay on the Enterprise as a consultant.
Yeah. But I prefer this way.
Yeah. I'm fine. He says, oh, fuck off with that ovation, total cheese. I didn't think so. They were happy.
Yeah, the clapping at when she was on the transporter pad, I see what he's saying. It was a little cheesy, but it's all right.
Stu continues, so a bit of a mixed bag, this one. I like a good trial episode, but it has to make sense to me. And there's just too many niggles about this one. It's kind of dictated by canon, and us knowing via Bashir that genetically modified Starfleet officers are still banned by this time. But on the other hand, they would have known that, and nobody forced them to go this route with Una. Fuck that bald Vulcan asshole, though. Thinks having thicker eyebrows compensates for it. I don't want to know what you want to do with bald Vulcan assholes, Stu.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that's how it looked to me for a second.
The practical version of that F word there.
Yeah, you don't get none unless you get a good waxing, Vulcan.
Oh, man. Is that the end of Stu's feedback?
Yeah, that's it.
Thanks, Stu. Thank you for
Thank you.
And you know what? You know what happened? We're officially off of the feedback glut that we were on from Picard. Since Picard, even last week, we had two feedbacks. We're back down to just Stu. Good old stalwart Stu.
Stalwart Stewart.
Mm-hmm. Stewart.
Stewart.
Stewart. Sorry.
Stalwart Stewart.
Okay, so there was news about that show. Which is
that show.
We got bad news about Prodigy.
I think this is why it got canceled. Too many Star Trek fans were calling it that show. All right, so Star Trek Prodigy is canceled by Paramount Plus. What is happening is they are not going to air season 2 on Paramount Plus. They are about to take the entire series off of Paramount Plus. But they're also completing season 2 and trying to sell it to another buyer. They're shopping it right now.
It's such a good show, and I really hope they can find a good place for it, because I do think that it's the kind of show, and I've been saying this since the show was announced and since we've always seen some of it, that it's the kind of show that could bring in new Star Trek fans, but if it's going to be behind the Paramount Plus wall, I just don't know that it's not going to do that, the audience that's on Paramount Plus, I know you like it and I like it too, but the audience that is on Paramount Plus for I don't know. There's just not. There is some kids programming, but I just don't know that they're looking for the show. And I feel like if it was out there in the world finding its another home, I think it could be better.
Well, I believe it's always been playing on Nickelodeon.
I thought that was the case at one point, but this makes me feel like that's not true. Is that like I know it's co-produced by Nickelodeon?
Yeah, I think what's going on though is that like this is all about just streaming.
Okay, so
I think
the streaming rights.
Yeah, I think it's still around on Nickelodeon, maybe, but at the same time, Paramount Plus, they're basically taking tax write-offs, just like Disney and WBD are doing. Like they're taking tax write-offs, getting rid of stuff on their platforms, pushing them to selling them to other things.
I really hate that.
Yeah, me too. But it's like the hype. It's like they're also doing it with that Grease show and a couple other things, like kind of like well-known properties that are underperforming. They're just trying to make some money.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't like it.
I don't either.
I mean, unless they do find a new home for it that'll bring in more audience. I mean, if they were to get it on Netflix and they push it, and then suddenly there's like an audience for it on Netflix, and it's actually getting, like traction and like audience that is getting to know what Star Trek is, that might eventually seek out other new life and new civilizations, then that could be cool. So I'll reserve judgment, but I don't like that. I just don't generally like this whole like tax write-off, getting rid of things that are on your streaming platform just because like you have to pay residuals on them. I just hate that. I really just all these shows that are leaving the streaming services forever and there's like no home for them now. I just think it's terrible.
I do too. I don't care for it. Plus, I'd like to have all the things in one place. Like,
yeah,
I love having all the things in one place.
Yeah, I get that, but I also understand why. Like, I don't like that every streaming service is trying to be for everybody now. Either like, if you're gonna have 1,000 different streaming services, have it so that like I don't need a sports streaming service. So every time I see your like ESPN Plus and stuff, like I'm like, great, that's one I'll never have to pay for. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like all these other ones, they want to fit in every category. So there's just like, it's not like there's like a kids streaming service with lots of kids content, and then there's like one for that's kind of geekier, and there's one that's kind of, it's just like they're all trying to do everything. So it feels like there's good stuff on everything, but there's also a lot of shit I don't care about. Yeah. And I get that they're trying to hit different quadrants so more people buy, but it almost feels like they could niche down with some of these, and then I don't know. I don't know what it would do.
I know they're merging Max and Discovery, and I got no interest in anything Discovery, all the reality cake baking shows or whatever the hell they've got going on over there.
Yeah.
It's a lot like if they did like ESPN Comp, where it's like nothing but sports and Three's Company. Man, you are really trying to get me with that Three's Company. Like, it's like nothing but what was his name? Jack Ripper. Hanging out with Chrissy and Janet. Oh, there's Mr. Roper.
Yeah. Man. All right. Well, I think that we're going to cut it there because it's late. And
yeah, man.
And that's about all I got to say about those things. We'll be back soon, guys. Thanks for everybody for listening. We love you very much. We really appreciate you hanging out on here at Star Trek Universe. And we'll be back soon with more content to talk about. We got Strange New Worlds every week right now. Woo!
Yeah, and the next episode up should be me and Effie doing Where No Man Has Gone Before, actually.
That's awesome. I love it.
So, you guys are welcome to give feedback if you're watching along with us.
Yeah. That sounds awesome. Do it.
Unless it's Stu doing more of what he did this time. And I'm like, I don't know what any of that means. Like, you just... Like, I'm going to have to start reading Stu's emails first and going, like, I'm not reading that on air. I don't know what this is.
Cross-referencing it with what episode it's from or whatever. Yeah, that's funny.
Don't be referencing shit from Space 1999 and shit. Yeah, right. I'm just playing Stu. Yeah, you write whatever you want.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be back, guys. Talk to you soon. Peace.
Joel Untrue?
I almost missed it completely.
I know.
I did get it at the same time.
Live long, prosper?
Live long, prosper.
Thank you for listening to the Star Trek Universe Podcast, a Stranded Panda production. If you'd like to hear more from David C. Robertson, check out the DC On Screen podcast or maladjusted.tv for his web videos. If you'd like to hear more from Matthew Carroll, check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast or listen to his music. Just search for Matthew Carroll anywhere you get music.